What is poppin' YouTube? I'm here to give you quick predictions, for Askren versus Paul. Jake Paul, the what's he call himself? The problem child versus funky Ben Askren. All right, so in terms of technical boxing, this is not going to be a high level affair, high level display. This is going to be two guys who are basically amateurs fighting each other. 8 rounds, 3 minute rounds. Um, Paul's really good, man. For how long he's been training, and just his natural born athleticism, and he's a pretty good boxer, man. Given the time he's put into the sport, he's pretty solid. We all know Askren does not have the best boxing or the best stand up in general, but he's been training stand up for well over a decade because he's been a professional mixed martial artist for well over a decade. So even though he hasn't necessarily been trying to implement striking or trying to stay on feet for long periods of time, he has been training striking. So it's an interesting matchup. In terms of Jake Paul, this is like the best stylistic matchup against a professional fighter that he could have. A dude who has very little stand up to his game, and he has been clipped many times. He's been susceptible to getting hit. Now, listen, everyone talks about the cardio and shit like that. I think Jake Paul has pretty okay cardio. I'm not gonna say it's amazing. It's okay. Uh, I don't know if you guys saw his fight against Deji. I think that's the one I really look at. I don't really look at the fight against Anason Gibb or the fight against Nate Robinson. I really look at that Deji fight. I know they were wearing headgear and shit like that, but Jake got hit a lot. Jake hit Deji a lot, and it was a good fight. And in that fight, they were wearing headgear, but I do believe it was a 3 round. I do believe it was 3 minute rounds, and it was for 6 rounds, and it went to the fifth. It got stopped early in the fifth, but it went all the way to the fifth. Now, listen, Jake Paul was gassing out, but up to the fourth round, he had pretty good cardio. Now, listen, Deji's not Ben Askren. Ben Askren's going to lean on Jake Paul. He's going to try to get him as gassed as possible, throw a lot of body shots, I'm sure, a lot of clinch, probably some rabid punches, you know what I'm saying? Ben Askren's going to make this a very sloppy and dirty fight. Ben Askren hasn't hit away from that. But I think early on, especially like the first 2-3 rounds, it could be a problem for Askren. If Jake Paul stays behind his jab, he's the bigger fighter. I believe he's a little longer than Askren as well. You just stay behind that jab, use good footwork, allow Ben to make the mistakes because Ben's movement is just not good. His footwork's not amazing. There's just his stand up leaves a lot to be desired. And yeah, he's not going to get Jake Paul out of there early. So the first 2-3 rounds are going to be dicey. But as the fight starts to go on, he is going to wear on Jake. The question is, can Jake get a second win? Can Jake, still, prevent Ben Askren from getting too much offense off? Listen, I'm rooting for Ben Askren. I'm going to predict Ben Askren by a decision, but I think it's way closer than people are predicting. I don't think Askren gets the finish. If anyone's getting a finish in this fight, it's going to be Jake Paul. I think if we're going to see a finish, it's going to be an early knockout by Jake Paul. Otherwise, I think this fight's going all 8 rounds. I think Jake Paul has the willpower to last all 8 rounds. But I think once after the third round, it's going to start to go Ben Askren's way. And I think Ben Askren is going to take rounds 4-8 and get a what would that be? 77, 74, or 77, 75 on the scorecards. If I'm not mistaken, I did that quickly in my head. I think that's right. 77, 75? Yeah, I think that's right. So that'll be my scorecard. That's what I think is going to end up being. And I want to quickly go over. I'm not going to change the screen. I don't care. But I'm going to quickly go over the main event of Bellator. Vadim Nemkov defending the light heavyweight championship in the second match of the Grand Prix against Phil Davis. Now, in their first fight, Nemkov won the first 2 rounds, started the gas, and lost that third round. Nemkov is shown to have really good takedown defense when he has cardio. When he isn't gassed, basically. He showed it against Phil Davis. He showed it against Ryan Bader. He has good takedown defense when he's not tired. And his striking is really, really good. The problem is that against Phil Davis, if that was a 5 round fight, Phil Davis would have won that fight. And now he's getting Nemkov in a 5 round fight. The question is, has Nemkov's cardio improved? Number one. And number two, does Nemkov have the power to knock out Phil Davis early? Because the later this fight goes on, the better it's going to look for Phil Davis, 100%. I'm going to go with the champ. I really like Vadim Nemkov. I'm so glad he shut up Ryan Bader talking shit, saying, I don't know if you guys know up to the lead up of the fight. Fucking John Jones just vacated his light heavyweight championship, and he was talking about how he was the best light heavyweight on the planet. And bro, dude, that shit pissed me off so bad. It's like you're not even top 10 in the UFC, brother. So what the fuck are you talking about? But that's neither here or there. Nemkov got him out of there. So yeah, but Nemkov, he showed really good striking. That head kick that he landed on Bader was nasty. Man, he has really good striking, trained by Fader. So, or as it's properly pronounced, Fyodor. But yeah, he's trained by Fedor, and man, that dude has some nasty striking. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say he wins the first three, loses the last two. I'm gonna go over the Nemkov by probably. I'm gonna say that I'm split decision. I think he's gonna win the first two clearly. Phil Davis is gonna win the last two clearly, and that third round is gonna be a little dicey. And I think they're gonna end up giving it to Nemkov. So I'm gonna say Nemkov by split decision. He wins the first 3 rounds, loses the last two. And yeah, this is just a quick video I wanted to go over because there are a couple intriguing fights outside the UFC that I wanted to cover real quick. Let me just address this one thing real quick. Last week, I wanted to post a prediction video for Holland versus Vittori, but I had some technical issues and shit like that, and I really want to sincerely apologize to everyone. I want to post as consistently as possible, and I want this to be an interactive community where people's voices feel like they are heard, and I just consistency is just for me the number one key. You have to be consistent, and last week I was not able to do that, and I truly want to sincerely apologize. And I appreciate everybody for the support. Please leave comments. Let me know what you want in the future and shit like that. Predictions for Whitaker and Gastelum should be coming out in the next few hours, if not tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day, night, whatever. Take care.